How's your fantasy team doing? I tell you how mine's doing. Not that great. In one league, I'm 0-2. The other league, I'm 1-1. And it's looking like I'm not going to win this next game because on Thursday night, I had a BOB. That's a player that's balling on my bench. James Robinson. I picked him up specifically to put him in the game for this week. Started talking on the phone with my mom. Stayed too long. She can be long-winded sometimes. Stayed too long. Looked up, and it was too late for me to put him in. And I knew he was going to ball because you're playing against the Dolphins. If it's one team I feel like you're going to ball against, it's the Dolphins, bro. You can ball on that defense, even though they lost the game. But James Robinson sitting on my bench with 30 points. He just scored 2 touchdowns. And I'm playing Chris Johnson this week. CJ2K, a former teammate of mine from ECU. He laughing, sending me all the laughing emojis during the game the whole time. Mind you, this is somebody that's new to fantasy, so if he get this win off me, I know I ain't going to live it down. I was going to have him on my podcast. I decided to postpone just like college football. Like, yo, let's just wait because I need to find out. We're going to see these results. We're going to find out what happened so we can talk about it during the podcast on the next one. But this is birthday weekend, so shout out to him. Congratulations, CJ, doing your thing. Happy birthday to you. But still, my fantasy team, man, B.O.B., balling on my bench. James Robinson, I knew he was going to make some plays too. He's going to be one of those players for the Jaguars that you can put in. So if you don't have him in your fantasy, you can pick him up right now. You heard me tell you. You can pick him up because he's probably going to ball all year. Now, I got a feeling that when I put him in next week, he probably going to do nothing because now everybody going to be watching him. Everybody going to be wanting to see what he got to do. Rookie. But still, I think he's a good player. That's why I decided to get him. But you got to remember to put him in the game. Don't do like I did and not put him in the game. I had a question from a marathon listener on Twitter that asked me who my receivers were. And I'm like, when I gave him the names, I'm sure you're thinking like, oh yeah, they're doing great. But if he's not paying attention on fantasy, then he's not even going to know that these players ain't really doing that. Julio Jones, you saw what happened in the Cowboys game. He running around acting like his hamstring hurt. Doesn't help you in fantasy. Like, anybody's playing fantasy need to know already if you're going to be hurt. Like, just let us know. They put up all those points and then end up still losing to the Cowboys. Julio, you ain't really do nothing. And Julio's not really one of those fantasy receivers because he don't catch for a lot of touchdowns anyway. But this is my first time being able to get Julio since I've been playing fantasy. And I pulled the trigger, feeling like they're going to get him the ball more this year. So far, it hasn't been that good. Even though I think maybe week 1 he did pretty good. But last week, nothing against the Cowboys. If you have Julio, you feel my pain. I also got Jarvis Landry, another player who hasn't been doing anything in fantasy this year. I'm waiting to see when he's going to start doing something because he was balling for me last year. I picked him up. But this year so far, you might as well have Odell Beckham because Landry act like he don't know how to score. I know it's early in the season, but he act like he don't know how to score and he's not putting up any kind of points. Now I got Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Smith-Schuster has been doing pretty good for the Steelers, even though I know that double team coming his way because you don't have Antonio Brown anymore. So if you look at these names, you're like, oh, you got Landry, Juju Smith, you got Julio, then you're going to be like, yeah, these some great receivers. Respectively, they might be great for their teams, but in fantasy, they ain't been doing nothing. But I just wanted to let y'all know. Real B.O.B. with James Robinson on my bench. Balling out on my bench. Just sitting there with points. Really doing nothing for society when you're doing that when it comes to fantasy. I'm sorry. Let me know what your team is doing. All right, let's talk about college football very quickly. The SEC is back. You got to have Alabama, you got to have LSU, you got to have Georgia. I don't care what nobody say. When you're playing, you got to have these teams. Like, you can't talk about college football and not have these teams. You got to have Nick Saban, right? You got to have Ed Orgeron. You got to have Georgia. These are teams you have to have. All right, let's talk about college football briefly. The SEC is back. You got to have Alabama. You got to have Georgia. You got to have LSU. These schools you have to have, bro. Like, you can't just be playing college football and we're not seeing Nick Saban. Like, we got to see what's good with Alabama. We got to see what's happening with Georgia. These teams got to come back. The Pac-12 conference decided to come back. They were one of the first ones that was like, yo, I don't care what y'all doing as a school, as an institution, and y'all got these students, athletes here. The state of California, we ain't having it. Like, sorry, it's not going down. Oregon, we not letting y'all do this. All of a sudden, now they're back because of the test, is what they would tell you. But on this platform, I'm just letting you know right now, I know it's about money. Like, we're not going to be on this platform feeling like you're listening to me and I'm telling you, oh, it's just about the student athletes that come. We want to see them play. Everybody that's there wants to play. This is why a lot of them came to school. They should be getting their education, but they're also student athletes, so they want to do those extracurricular activities. No, money that comes to your university from your football program, and I know that from working at in universities. Like, as an employee, it's been obviously some money lost due to the pandemic. They got to get this money back some kind of way. Like, they got to have it. We just know that. Like, you can't be going into it feeling like everybody just out here trying to be just watching the games. Like, we want to do this for the atmosphere. First of all, you're not even having so many people in the stand. You like, fans got to be at home. You can't tailgate. Some of them just deciding to stay home anyway. It's just one of those things where I feel like we know it's money driven. But I'm glad that it's back. I'm gonna be watching just like everybody else. But to me, I feel like at the same time, you already have coaches that have tested positive for COVID. Right now, you got the head coach for Florida State. They're going up against Miami. He won't be on that sideline. Why? Because he tested positive for COVID. Houston, they can't even find a team to play for the first week because too many positive tests on the opponents that they had scheduled. Notre Dame had to cancel their game. But my alma mater, ECU, will be playing against UCF, who last week, if you saw, like, their quarterback he probably got all the awards because he threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So look out for the UCF quarterback. He's going to be coming into ECU trying to throw all over that defense and trying to get a win. I'm hoping that ECU can win that game. It's going to be ECU's first game. So a lot of these college teams are really just getting their first game. Like, so you're going to have to get that first game, jitters out the way, but you're also going to be making mistakes because you haven't even seen your team play against somebody else. Like, you've been playing against yourself every time. Like, it's just different when you go against yourself instead of an opponent. So it's going to be a lot to be evaluated. I know coaches are excited, players are excited, but, the game of the week obviously is going to be Florida State versus Miami. So last game for Miami, they look like they might be back. Like, they're ready to go. Florida State's been struggling at quarterback. That offensive line, it's been that for them, in my opinion, for so many years. That offensive line is just not good enough. Like, they don't even have enough time for their quarterback to be successful. And he's been up and down all season, more down probably than up. But that O-line at Florida State, they got to get that correct. And Miami has a great pass rush, great defense. So he probably ain't going to have that much time in this game either. So if you're watching that game, make sure you check them out. But I just feel like college football, to me, it's just going to be tough for these teams to come back. Like the Pac-12 team, they've been practicing, but they ain't even really been out there doing it full contact type of practice. Like, they had shut them completely down. All they was doing was like working out, just trying to stay in shape. So it's going to be different for them to come back. I think their first games are in November. They're going to have to knock all that rust off and then try to jump in, and play. So they're going to try to get these games off of these players. Like, I feel sorry for a lot of the players because you missing out on games during your eligibility years. Like, it's just a bunch of players that's going to end up, they're going to play some games, but they ain't going to be able to get all their games in. And I think that's just unfortunate. So everybody's making an adjustment due to what's happening with the pandemic. And college football is no different. But they're going to make sure they go get that money. So let's make sure we understand what it's really about out here. Like, they're trying to go get that money. They ain't got time to be really, if you're a player, you decide that you don't want to play because you think you're going to go to the league, then that's fine. They'll find somebody else put in that position so that we can still go and, and at least get a little bit of money instead of just ending the program and not playing, because they know that football is exciting for fans, but they also know money is exciting for everybody. That's just how I feel about it. Enjoy the college games. I'll be watching them too. Now let me shift to this with the NBA. We back to where we started. In my opinion, I keep saying this, I'm going to sound like a broken record. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Yes, the Denver Nuggets have been looking good. It's 3-1 right now as I'm doing this podcast. Anthony Davis, he giving you 34 points. In my opinion, bro, this is exactly why LeBron wanted him on the team. Like, as you're watching these games, I hope that you're realizing that LeBron is really like the best GM in this league. I know that Rob Pelinka is in that position. And I know if you ask LeBron about it, he's going to act like he doesn't have anything to do with it. But come on, bro. Like, we know he's the reason why Anthony Davis came to this team. And it makes sense. If you're a Lakers fan right now, you think about all these other role players because you know that you got Anthony Davis and you got LeBron James. And you feel like they're going to do what they got to do. All you need is the role players to just do what they're supposed to do, ball out, add some more scoring. And Jamal Murray's been going crazy, by the way. I'm going to get to him in a minute. But Dwight Howard as well. LeBron, he already know Anthony Davis has this type of ability. He just needs to be in a position where he can be successful. When he was on New Orleans, that wasn't happening for him. And now, you see what's happening. He's giving you 30-plus points in these games, leading the team. This is exactly why LeBron wanted him on his team. And during the time when it happened, there was a lot of people that felt like, okay, LeBron, he going to end up getting Anthony Davis. Like, it's coming. A lot of people saw that happening. Especially when you saw that he wasn't playing in those games for the Pelicans. I'm taking you back a little bit, but he wasn't playing in certain games for the Pelicans, right? You like, he going to LA. But when you watch games, close games, like what happened in Game 4, right? And I ain't gonna lie to Bubba refs. I'm about to start a damn hashtag say Bubba refs because some of these calls have been like I'm really watching NBA at this point just because I want to watch some more basketball. But these Bubba refs, it's been a difference. Like the bubble is not just affecting the players, it's affecting the refs too. But to me, he knew that Anthony Davis was going to be this type of player for him. He knew it was going to take a load off of him where he wouldn't have to do so much. Now LeBron ain't even got to do so much. Like he balling, but he don't got to do as much because he knows that Anthony Davis is a younger player. He's hungry for a ship. He's trying to go get this championship. So at the end of the day, bro, it goes back to what I was saying. Like LeBron is the ultimate GM. I'm not finna get his credit to Rob Pelinka, bro. This credit goes to LeBron James. He put his team together. Yes, Rob Pelinka's in that position. He used to be an agent. He doing his thing. I'm glad. But if LeBron don't go in there and say, yo, I want Anthony Davis, it's not happening, bro. LeBron did that. That's why I'm going with it. I'm saying LeBron did that. As close as these games are, I'm talking about Anthony Davis putting game out for the win in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals against Denver, who had a chance now. Because if you win on a game winner, that means you had a chance to win that game. Like Denver really, this thing could really be a little bit different. It ain't got to be 3-1 like it is right now. But when a win is a win, right? That's how you take that. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. I don't think people expect the Denver Nuggets to be in the Western Conference Finals either. It's like Denver Nuggets and Heat, both teams in the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. I didn't have fans putting them in the Western or Eastern Conference Finals right now. They're surprising everybody to me, but it's a bubble tournament right now, and things are just different. And these teams are hot, and they're playing great. But I feel like the Heat, I think they're going to win that series because I think they got a better coach. I think Eric Spoelstra's a better coach than Brad Stevens. Even though now it's 3-2. They were up 3-1. But on the other side with the Western Conference Finals, I'm going with the Lakers. It's 3-1 right now. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Every time you see Anthony Davis do something, yes, it's on his own ability. He gets the credit, of course, because he got to make these plays. But LeBron, he really the one that's playing chess. He put that team together. He deserves a lot of credit for that. Just getting him to the finals, he deserves that credit. He get there and lose, don't even matter. He done lost a lot of finals before. And he's a great player. We already know that. He needs to win it for LA. Don't get it twisted because LA is used to getting wins. Now, it's been a long time since LA has been in the playoffs. Let's keep that real, LA fans. You got to be very real about that. But when y'all get there, y'all winning. So if LeBron doesn't get it done and doesn't win, it's going to definitely be some LA fans like, I'm glad he did all this good stuff, but he needed to close it out, finish the deal. We coming from having Magic Johnson and Kobe and Shaq. These guys are getting it done. We got to get you to get it done, LeBron. And I understand everybody that's saying that. I really do.